Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, codesurfer, and I hope you guys are doing really well. So, in last videos we saw about arrays, what are arrays, what are multidimensional arrays, what is 2D array, and we had some hands-on practice on them as well. So you can check out the previous videos as well. So in today's video we'll have a look about the functions. So functions are like the stuff which will be in use when you have to repeat something or repeat few lines of code in a code. So at that time you can use functions. For example, I have a few lines of code which is calculating something for the two numbers, and I'll need those stuff for like 3 4 times in the whole program. So at that time I'm not gonna write this few lines of codes directly again and again. Instead of that, all this stuff will be stored in one function, and that function will be called, and all this thing will be displayed automatically. So for example, let's take this thing. So all these things are now in this one line. So whenever I want to use these three lines, I will just use this keyword function, for example, and all these three lines will be executed in that function line only. So there'll be no use of writing these lines, because that might, like, it can divert your mind sometimes when you're writing same line of code again and again. Sometimes you get confused, like how many times I'm gonna use I'm gonna use this code again and again. So it might be a bit confusing sometime, and it also make your code a bit lengthier. So this is why we use functions. And functions are of two types: some functions return values and some don't. So void is one of the return value that is like, it is known as return value, but it is not returning any value. So in a simple way, when a value is written, for example a calculation is done here like 2 plus 3, and it is stored in a variable, and then it is going to integer, and then you are getting the output. But in void it will just display what is done here. Like if I'm printing here 2 plus 3, it will just print here, it will just print me 2 plus 3. So this is the difference between void and other data types. So now let's see what and how we can write a function. So to write a function you just need three things at starting. So first will be the return type, I would say, that we already discussed. So return type, or what else we can say there? We can say the data type as well, if it's up to you guys. So it's return type, which will be like integer, character, void that we saw now, and then a space, and there will be function name. Now function name would be anything, but it cannot be like the inbuilt functions. For example, you can't use return in the function name, you can't use the using namespace, anything. It should be something out of the inbuilt functions or inbuilt keywords. And then there will be two parentheses, and below that the curly braces, and here will be the code that will be executed for the function. Now once you are done with this stuff, the next thing comes is how to use this function. So to use this function, you just simply have to write down the function name here and the parenthesis, and that's how it is done. So if even if I have written like this line of codes here, and I'll just print function name here, this thing will be automatically done by this one line only. And some other stuff are there, like you can use the parameters inside as well, and the parameters will be same like integer, float, it's up to you guys. So we'll see this stuff in the next videos, but today we'll just see a void function and just we'll print some stuff with that. So let's quickly get started with it. So let me just create a function, like we'll create a void and I'll name it display. and this curly not the curly braces, parentheses, and then the curly braces. Now we'll just simply print here C out, and I'll print hello and welcome to codesurfer. Now as you guys are welcome, I'll just simply put a semicolon down here. And now if I want to print this statement 10 times in different sections in a program, that I'll not need to copy paste this stuff. I'll simply just put here display with this bracket and a semicolon again, and don't worry about this space. So if I try to run this thing now, let's see if we are getting what we are getting. So yep, there is a spelling mistake. I'll do is here display, and we'll run it now. And yeah, we are getting here hello and welcome to codesurfer, as you guys can see here. So as I said, now I don't have to like go for it again and again. So for example, we can make it a bit easier to understand by Control C and simply Control V. But for that, I'll just change the statements first so that it would be easier for us to understand. Now here I'll just say hello in second line. Then I'll say welcome to codesurfer, and then I'll just write down codesurfer. Now, what if I want to do this, use this all of them every time in the program at few distinct times? So at that time, this display method will be used. And one more thing is necessary is the AND line here. Otherwise, it would be really confusing for us to differentiate the statements here. So let's just do it really quickly, and there we are done with it. So here I've just done this display, and now let's run the program again, and yeah, we are getting all those statements here. Now as I said, I'll just do it again, copy paste here, Control V, and let's see how many times we are getting this thing. So yeah, as you see, it is printed 3 times. So this is pretty much about the void function, but you guys might be wondering, what if this function is at the end of the program? Now definitely it is gonna throw an error, and that error would be this is not in the scope. So let's see what the error is. So the error is the display was not declared in the scope. Yeah, so to do that thing, you can do one thing that we call what we call, I forgot the name, but you can simply just put down the name of the function here as we did, and with the same thing and a semicolon, and now it will allow you to go through this thing again and again. So because you guys know that the program always go from this way. So if the function is added here and you're using something but it is declared here, but before you are using it, so definitely it's gonna throw some error, and we don't want those stuff. So that is why we propagate this function here, so you can use it really easily. So that was all for this video, I would say, and see you guys in the next video with some parameters and returning values we'll use in the function. So till that time, take care and bye bye.